Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited. I'm nervous too. I have some notes because I get a little squirrely. And thank you, Bree, because you brought a little tear to my eye there. Man, November 2020, that was a long time ago. That was just a couple months after I joined. So it's pretty amazing, and it's still pretty amazing. And I'm just a month shy of my 3-year anniversary. So thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. Again, I'm Charlene Ali. I'm a superstar consultant. So I'm going to jump right into something that is usually done like at the end of a training session or an assignment. I'm going to give you homework to improve your business. And I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you why I'm doing that in a minute, but I want you to do 2 things. So first, I want you to decide what you want from your business. What do you want from Scentsy? Is it money? Do you want to travel? As Bree and Alex mentioned, we're coming up on a new incentive period, which I earned the Alaskan cruise last year. Bummed I didn't earn this one, and that was my own fault. So I'm ready to go for this next one. Or is it personal connections? Or my original reason for joining was just wanted to get the free product. So I want you to think about it though, and it can change later. It probably will change later. This is different from your why though. This is what is it that you need from your Scentsy business. So really think about that. Secondly, I want you at some point to search the True Life page for like that keyword of what it is that you want to know more about for your business, or something that you struggle with, or something that you want to learn. And it could be the True Life page, it could be another group, it could be the workstation, but I want you yourself to actually go on and intentionally search for something that you want to improve on or learn more about. As an example, if you're looking for a way to come up with something that can provide you with processes, then maybe you search the word systems. And I know because Alex has talked about some systems several times that there's quite a bit of content just on the True Life page on systems. So why do I ask you to do that now? Well, because most of you showed up for this chat. Either you showed up now or later on tonight when you put the kids to bed, or in a week or two when it's up on YouTube, you showed up. At some point, you're going to start watching this, but not all of you, for whatever reason, are going to finish it. It's like our business. You're there for the beginning, but as time goes on, we're not always there. So that's why I ask you to do this at the beginning, because most of you are going to start out all gung-ho, watching this, ready to go, but you won't make it till the end. So then I want you to you can direct message me or come back and tell us in the True Life chat that's attached to this dream chat what it is that you learned and what it is that you want out of this business. And I see Michelle's already, yep, travel, be my own boss, income. Perfect. So why is that? Why do we do that? Well, I know one reason that I do it is it gets harder. Scentsy gives us like so much training, content, marketing, a website. They do all of that for us. We have amazing leaders in this group, Bree and Alex, who have put together a group of almost 1,000 people, and they provide us content daily. But you have to put a little bit more or a lot of effort into your own business. You have to put more than you did in the beginning. When everyone around you in the beginning, they want to support you. It's new, it's exciting. All the friends and family, everybody wants to support you in your new Scentsy business. So the orders are coming in, the parties are coming in, everything's just kind of coming at you. So now you're 3 to 4 months in, and the orders slow down, or they don't come at all. And they're not as automatic as maybe they were a couple of months ago. Then what? What do? Do you throw your hands up? You quit? Do you repeat the same motions over and over, hoping for a different result? That's not going to work. And I'm talking to you pretty real and raw, because that's me, not a lot of the time, but I have my moments, and you're going to hear me talk about that. But I know where I would be if I devoted 100% of my time to this business. And for reasons I can't all the time. But I know what it is that I need to do. And when I want to get back in it, I know how to get back in it. And so that's what I really want to share with you today. And I really hope that you get from this is that I'm speaking from my heart and from just the knowledge I have of going through this. So how do we overcome this? So I'm sure there are a lot of ways, but I'm going to share like my top 3. Some of you guys may have heard these before, but they're what bring me back every time to the focal point of my business and get me back on track. So one is you have to focus on what you can control. And this is really important, not only in your business, but in your home life, personal life. You can control what you post and when you post it. You can control who you reach out to and how often you work your business. You can control whether you want to make those samples and send out happy mail. All of those things are within your control. What can't you control? So your team, to a point, you can't control your team's personal effort or their personal sales. You can't control what your customer wants, their needs and their financial status for that month. I'm going to use an example, the cowboy bundles that we had. And I was a little embarrassed because Bree's like, "Ma'am, can you share how you did that?" It's like, well, I can, but it wasn't a whole lot. And I'm not bragging because, again, this is just an example of some things come a little easier than others. So as an example, I threw up like a couple posts on that cowboy bundle that we had, and it was something that I thought was cute, but it wasn't something that super interested in me. But I threw it up and I had 12 orders for those bundles. So 12 times 60 is quite a bit of PRV for one item. And I was even talking, like, shocked, telling my husband, like, I just put up a post. I don't understand. Like, what the heck? And I just thought it was crazy. And then like a week or so later, maybe a couple days later, we had the Disney 100th warmer. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to sell like 10 of these. Everybody's going to want them. And I personally messaged my Disney customers. I searched the workstation for the people, my customers in the past that had ordered. I personally reached out. And I just felt I put way more effort into that warmer than I did the previous one. I got 2. I wasn't disappointed. I was just shocked. I was like, oh, wow, okay. But it wasn't in my control. I mean, I did everything that was in my power and everything. I was happy with the work and effort that I put into that. And so again, I wasn't upset. I was just more like, oh, okay, kind of surprised. Because I put more effort into that one than I did the first one. So, but I don't control what people want and what they need, or if they got their paycheck or whatever. And what is super cute to me may not be super cute to somebody else. So those are the things that, we can't control. So I still shared it. And you know what? If I wouldn't have shared it, I would have done nothing, then I would have got nothing. So it's just important that, again, focus on what you can control. We have to find different ways sometimes because it's not always in our control. And if it was, it would be a lot easier. But the key takeaway here is to focus what it is within your control. So you have the power in your business. You have all of the control. You really do. Whether you believe you do or not, you really do. And one of the things that I see a lot are a lot of excuses. I'm too busy. No one wants to buy. They already have a Scentsy person. No one has any money. Well, that's just BS. It's BS. Some of my best customers, their sisters are underneath me, or their sister-in-law, and they still come and buy Scentsy from me. So that's just an excuse. And that's where failure breeds. Our biggest failure is putting the blame on things that we can't control instead of putting focus on what we can control. So, like, are you even trying? I mean, how can you blame something when maybe you're not even putting the effort in? So just like stop it right now because it's just not going to work for you. You can control thanking people for their order. You can control follow-ups, personal messages, reaching out, setting systems in place for maybe like once a month. You reach out to somebody randomly to say, hey, like, I hope you're doing well. Haven't spoken to you in a while. Maybe the following week, it's hey, I'm placing an order. Can I add something, some more washer whisk for you? Hey, I know how much you love ruby nectarine. I want to share that. It's coming back next week, something like that. And then, like, stop with the absolutes. No one, never, and always. Those are like absolutes. Like, I get frustrated when people are like, well, no one ever wants to buy from me. Well, you have, PRV, so clearly someone wanted to buy from you. And when you focus so much on the negative, again, you're not going to get anywhere positive doing that. And then number 2 is go back to being intentional. In the beginning, you signed up for this business with some kind of intention. You either invested your personal money into it or your personal rewards. But you did that with intention. So like you can intentionally schedule posts for a week. You can, intentionally personally reach out to those that ordered and say thank you. You can intentionally follow up with customers that like haven't ordered in a bit. Those are all things that you can do with intention. And then just stop complaining. Just stop it. Because all it does is focus your energy on something negative. So take it and flip it and put it towards something positive. What I love about this group is you don't see a whole lot of complaining. There's almost 1,000 people in this group, and there's not a whole lot of, meanness or constant complaining. But if you go to like any other group, and I mean any other, whether it's a post to my page or real life pictures, sometimes I can't even like go on it because I just see something negative and it just makes me like not even want to be there. So it's important to be positive and like flip that and make it positive. Put it towards searching a page. Put it towards something like, searching the workstation. There are so many tools, you guys, like so many tools. And there are still some that say like, I don't know what to post. Nothing's working. Well, what are you doing it? What are you doing for it, babe? Like really? Like, and again, if you're doing all the things, you're posting, you're following up after sending thank yous, you're personally messaging people, you're talking to people, having joint conversations. If you're doing all those things, sometimes that is just the way it is. So if you're putting the effort in and the result isn't what you want, but you're being intentional, that's important. So like one thing doesn't work, it's usually multiple things. It's repeating acts with intention, sharing, not selling. Bree has shared a calendar before, and I've seen them in other groups that will give you content to post every day. Literally package it with a cute bow and hand it to you, and they'll even write the words for you. It's amazing. And then we have one of these things with hundreds of products in it. That is content for you. So, and use that search button, because like when I'm in a funk and I feel like, okay, I'm not really giving 100%. What is it that I need to do? I stop, I reset myself, and I search. I go back, I look through these dream chats. I rewatch videos by Brie or Alex or other people that have come on this page and blessed us with their ideas. Because you guys, we are very lucky. I have met people, other consultants that are like, what? I don't have anybody that's ever done that in my group. We're very, very blessed to have that. And so it's just really important that, we take advantage of that, because they're doing that, for us. They're taking time out of their day. They're coming up with the content, and there's literally 2 of them running this page. Now there's several of, a good group of people that will come on consistently, but ultimately it's 2 people running this page for us. So, I feel like I've been trying to be a little bit more intentional with what I share with the group, because I think, I've gotten so much from this group that it's my duty to like share and give back. So, so then, I look at the things I've done in the past that worked, and, some things that didn't. But, what's funny is all the things that I do and that I try, they're not always the same, because what worked a few months ago may not work today. Like when Bree said those numbers earlier, that I did over 7,000 PRV in November, that was almost 3 years ago. It was a different time then. And again, I really didn't have to try a whole lot in the very beginning, because people were wanting to support me. So it's very different now. So what I did yesterday just may not work for today. So I really have to, and you really have to focus on what it is that you want to achieve. So the third thing, and you all have heard this hundreds and hundreds of times, is to stay consistent. This is the biggest one for me. Because do you know how hard it is to catch up after falling behind on sending Happy Mail to those that ordered off your website for 3 to 4 months? It's a little rough. I'm not the most consistent person. I go through like spurts. So like I know, my husband tells me too, I know where my business would be if I was. I know that by now I'd be a director or even higher. But the business life, the Scentsy life for me is a little different. I love it. I don't ever intentionally like stop doing it. I've never like quit Scentsy. But I have a very demanding full-time job. And for me, it isn't about the money. But I think that the key thing for me is I know how to get it back when it does kind of fall below where I want it to. The money is wonderful. And for a lot of you in this group, it pays your bills. And I think that's amazing and wonderful. And it makes me want to share this even more because that's a huge responsibility. So like I noticed like for myself, I go through and it's mainly just me being busy, but my full-time job is very consuming. And sometimes I just like get burnt out. And it's not Scentsy, just burnt out in general. So maybe like I don't feel like putting effort into my business. And there were a couple of times where I know that I kind of like slowed down for a couple months, got behind on thank yous and posting. Thank yous didn't come for 3 or 4 months, but I still sent them out. And there was a couple of times where I'm like, man, do they even know it's been a couple months? Should I really do it? But I did it. And guess what the result was? It was business. Maybe it was just a few orders here and there, but it's business. And the fact that I remembered and I showed up, that's the point here, is you show up. You show up with your business and for yourself. You know, you can't expect anyone else to do it. You can't always expect that customer to just automatically place that order. You have to tell them, you have to remind them, you have to share Scentsy with them. You have to do it consistently. You have to do it more than once. And again, I see it in my business. I have gone through spurts of like not being consistent, but I only have myself to blame for that. You're not going to see me blame anybody else for that. But when I get back in the game and I'm ready to go, I see those results. And I notice that when I'm more consistent for like a longer period of time, the better my business results are. So it's just important that you just take ownership. Again, I just can't stress that enough. And not just say, well, like I put up a post. Well, one post, I mean, that would be freaking awesome if we could just all get a bunch of orders off of one post. But like, I don't know the size of your VIP groups or even if you have a VIP group. But how many people do you think even saw that post? Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 5. So you're relying on that one person that maybe sees your post, but you're relying on that one person to buy that one item that you're posting that one time. It just doesn't work that way. And so you just have to work for it and build that foundation. You know, you can't expect anybody else to build this business for you. It's nice when it comes in. It's extra for me. I get really excited when I get that paycheck. I think it was my last paycheck. I was like really excited because it was more than what I expected. And it's just not something that I depend on because, like I've said, I have a full-time job that I do depend on. And I found for me, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much. If I had to depend on 2 jobs. And I know a lot of people here do 2, 3 jobs. I just don't know how y'all do it. And so like for me, I had to put this business in a way that worked for me and I love it every day still. And I still get just as excited when I get that, you know, you have a PWS order. All those things are just super exciting for me. But that doesn't mean I don't try and that I don't love it. But when it gets to a point where I'm like not getting what I want out of my business, whether it's didn't get enough free parties, parties so I can get free stuff this month, or, you know, maybe I missed that incentive trip by a couple thousand points. I can't blame anybody but myself. I can't blame it on slow sales. You won't hear me saying nobody's buying or I'm doing everything I can because sometimes I'm just not. And I know that when I don't hit the mark, I don't hit the numbers, and I don't hit the goal that I set for myself for that particular time, I'm not going to be calling Bree saying nothing is working, because I know it's not working, because I know I'm not investing. I'm not putting myself into my business. I promise you, I promise you, if you focus on those three things and you continue to put in all those efforts, you will be where you want to be someday. It is not going to be quick. This is just not a get rich quick business. This is a put the work in, put the effort in, and see results over time. So think about the jobs you've had in your life, or even the job you have now. Did you get to where you are overnight? I know I haven't. I've been with the same employer for almost 17 years. And it took 14 years. I went up 8 pay grades. It's like night and day for my family. I worked, I did the things that I knew would someday get me there and to a place where I wanted to be. So why would your Scentsy business be any different? So if I can leave you with those 3 things, stay consistent, go back to being intentional, and focus on what you can control. I really believe that your business will be very successful. So I thank you guys for having me. And if there's anyone that has any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them.